please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi, welcome to Overdrive. You're watching the show with me, Soini Dutt. Let's start the show with a story that had our consulting editor Bob Rupani clear out his schedule completely and made sure that he was at a racetrack in the UK to keep pace with a very stylish, a very fast, a light and a magnificent sounding cat. Here's the new Jaguar F-Type SVR.
We are at the Jaguar Land Rover test facilities in UK, and today we have with us the Jaguar F-Type SVR, which is a vehicle developed by SVO, which is the Special Vehicles Operation Team. This team basically takes one of the regular Jaguar products or the Range Rovers and then modifies them, makes them bespoke, ups the performance level. What I like most about this car is its styling. It's a classically good looking sports car. All flowing lines, no sharp edges, and of course to deal with the additional performance, the SVR also has a new aero kit for better downforce. It's got ceramic brakes that, as we saw on the track, work really well. The faster you go, the more you brake, the better it stops. There's no brake fade. The Jaguar F-Type SVR has certain additional cosmetic changes. The aerodynamic body kit, which actually improves downforce. It's also got, as we can see, some vents here which work very well to take out the heat from within the front wheel area, cool the brakes. The side skirts, which are not just a cosmetic touch, but they improve the ground holding thanks to the aerodynamics, which pushes the car down, increases the ground force. At the back, it's got a bigger spoiler that increases the downforce. When you're at high speeds, it pushes the rear wheels down even further thanks to the air pressure that's building up with the ground force coming through the rear spoiler. At the back, you can again see they have a air diffuser which works along with the rear spoiler, and together both of them work very nicely to increase the downforce on the rear wheels at high speed. That's making you feel that much more stable, that much more confidence. The exhaust system on the SVR has also been changed completely. They took out the old bits, they've done this in titanium. I'm told it saves about 16 kilos. Lots of other weight-saving bits on this car. SVR is done with the aim of improving the performance, but yet letting it be a car that you can live with.
With all the tweaks, performance tuning and recalibration it's gone through, the F-Type SVR's V8 engine now develops 575 PS and 700 Nm of torque. It takes all of 3.7 seconds to reach from 0 to 100 km an hour and has a top speed of 322 km per hour. This makes the F-Type SVR the most powerful production car ever made by Jaguar.
On the slalom, we'll experience the different driving modes: normal, dynamic sport. A slalom generally gives you a very good idea of the agility and grip levels of a car. Out we go. Nice sharp response from the steering, turns in well, grip feels good. Nice. It's always great fun driving a car that responds so well to your inputs.
Also contributing to the amazing grip and the exceptional driving dynamics of the F-Type SVR is the intelligent all-wheel drive system with technology that has been designed to ensure maximum traction at all times. The strong, lightweight aluminium platform also allows the finely tuned forged aluminium double wishbone suspension of the F-Type to provide the desired levels of grip and responsive handling, which in turn complements the additional engine performance. The electric power steering has been completely recalibrated too, and it bestows you not only with an appreciable amount of informative communication, with also pleasing feel and just the right amount of weightage at speeds and through fast corners.
It's a very easy car to live with. It's a supercar that you can use on a daily basis. Ride quality is comfortable, even on the rough roads. You don't get bounced around too much, your body doesn't hurt. Yes, it's a car that's capable of doing 320 kilometers out on the track, and then it's good enough for you to drive on the back roads or broken roads that we would normally find in India and not get beaten and bruised. Another thing that's great about the F-Type, always was, the way the engine sounds. In the SVR, it's that much better. So let's go hear that engine. Now that's what a sports car should sound like. This car has the power to move the soul. That's a cat growling, yes, that's the Jaguar.
Well, if your ears are still ringing from that throaty growl of the Jaguar F-Type SVR, then rest assured that that car will be coming down to India by the end of this year. And as Bob mentioned, it is a supercar that packs in a lot of performance but also maintains its comfort. When you've joined us on our Auto Selector segment here on the show, where our Overdrive editor Shumi joins us as always to answer all of your motor inquiries. Hi Shumi, our first question this week comes in from Rohan Sirur. He writes in saying that he wants to buy a sedan which he wants to be of premium feel, and at the same time he wants it to be a driver's delight. He says that he understands that Toyota Yaris will be launched in the market soon. Should he consider that car, or are there any other cars in that segment that you would recommend? Price, he says, is not a constraint.
Rohan, the Yaris is a car that we are all waiting to drive, but Toyotas typically don't favor the driver as much as they favor an all-round package which appeals to all kinds of drivers. So if driving is important to you, you should probably look at something like the Verna, which is our current car of the year, which really impressed us in how far Hyundai has come in their cars being appealing to a family as well as to the driver sensibilities. It's not all-out sporty either, neither will the Yaris be, but we were already quite happy with the Verna, and I would love to see the Toyota Yaris top that. The sportiest car in that segment perhaps would be something like the Honda City though, but I would still steer you and say go drive the Verna and see if you like that, and the Yaris launch is just around the corner. If you'd like to wait for it, do that.
Our next question, Shumi, comes in from Rohan Taude. He writes in saying that he's inspired to take his Triumph Tiger XCA to the mountains this year after watching our adventure tourer story to Ladakh. He says he would like to know what are the precautionary measures before he embarks on this road trip.
I love the fact that you read one of our stories and are inspired to try and do something with your motorcycle. The XCA should just go to Ladakh without you having to do anything at all. That's what it's supposed to do. It did win our comparison test, so I'm confident it will do it. What should you do though? Well, precautionary, I would say go for a service, get everything cleaned up, ensure that your air filter is clean, oil levels are up, brake fluids, clutch fluids, etc. are up, and that your brake pads have enough life to cover the whole distance. That's all you need to do, and pack well.
Up next, Vishwanath Kerkar writes in saying that he used to have a Mahindra Duro 125 and at present rides the TVS Jupiter. He likes to ride at high speeds. He is currently shortlisted the Honda Grazia and the TVS N-Torque 125 as the scooters that he would like to go in for. His priorities are good braking and good performance. Which scooter would you suggest, Shumi?
Have you thought about the Aprilia SR150? To me, that's the sportiest scooter you can buy in the country right now. It's a little bit uncomfortable. The ride quality is quite hard. Aprilia dealers tend to be quite far away from you and all of that. But that is the sportiest scooter money can buy. That's the fastest thing you can buy. Of the two you've chosen though, the choice is quite easy. The TVS N-Torque 125 is the sportier scooter by a long margin. The Grazia is a more stylish scooter than sporty. So if the requirement is performance, handling, sporty feeling and all of those things, to me the ladder is Aprilia SR150 on top, and then the TVS N-Torque 125, which I think is the scooter you should buy.
And our final question this week comes in from Shomik Bandhopadhyay. He writes in saying that he is planning to buy a car and has shortlisted the Maruti Suzuki Swift or the Maruti Suzuki Baleno. His priority is comfort. Which car would you suggest, Shomi?
Shomik, easy thing to answer. If comfort is your priority, then you should buy the Baleno. The Swift is a little bit sportier in nature than the Baleno. The Baleno is also a slightly bigger car. It has a little bit more space inside. I think you'll be happier with that. Luckily for you, long queues for the Swift. The Baleno will also be easy to acquire.
Well, the market space is just buzzing with so many choices for four-wheelers as well as two-wheelers nowadays, isn't it? So we do understand that that buying decision might become even more tougher. Just to make that particular decision a lot simpler, you can send us your queries at helpdesk@overdrive.co.in. That's our email address. You can also send them to us via Facebook or Twitter, and we will get our editor Shumi to answer them for you on the show. Right now though, it's time for us to check out what's making the latest headlines in the world of auto. Last week, BMW India commemorated the 11th anniversary of BMW's Chennai facility. At the occasion, BMW also announced a new technical skills initiative, Skill Next, that aims to give automobile engineering students a chance to work on the engine and transmission of BMW India's cars. Under the Skill Next initiative, 365 demonstration BMW engine and transmission units will be provided to leading engineering and technical institutions across the country. BMW India says that it plans to complete deliveries by the end of this year at no cost. BMW will supply its twin-power turbo, inline 4-cylinder diesel engine and the 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission. BMW India believes these powertrains will serve as an effective learning tool for budding engineers, as it provides them with a hands-on experience of working on a modern engine and transmission. The educational institutions will receive the BMW engine and transmission on signing an understanding that it will be used inside the campus for learning purposes only. Now, just ahead of the Auto Expo earlier this year, Ford unveiled its crossover offering for the Indian market, the Ford Freestyle. Now, it is a crossover that will go up against the likes of the Hyundai i20 Active as well as the Honda WRV, and here's our best take on the Ford Freestyle.
If you were to simply count the number of passenger vehicles on sale in India today, I'm sure all things SUV would outnumber hatchbacks and sedans by a significant margin. Well, the list only seems to get longer, as the newest addition is this, the all-new Ford Freestyle. Well, looking at the car, you might want to think this is just a hopped-up Figo, but Ford tells us the Freestyle is almost entirely new, with a lot of changes to the suspension, the chassis, and that's besides the fact that the car is powered by an all-new 3-cylinder petrol engine that's mated to a new transmission. How is it to drive? Let's find out. The Freestyle's front end looks similar to the Figo's, but look closely and you'll notice the difference in the detailing of the headlights. The new grille looks more distinctive, but the bigger differentiators up front are the C-shaped surrounds for the fog lamps, which bring in a sense of novelty to the face. To add to the SUV-like feel, the Freestyle gets a set of functional roof rails, which can hold up to 50 kg of weight. Of course, there's black cladding all around the bodywork, as also silver-colored plastic cladding at the front and rear to mimic skid plates. These changes, along with the increased ride height, accentuate the feeling of the Freestyle being a taller car. Move to the rear and you'll notice that the tail lamp cluster looks similar to the Figo's as well, but its internal elements get a new design. A similar treatment has been meted out to the rear bumper, as it looks similar to the Figo's but gets enough changes to make a visual difference. On the whole, this is a good looking car, though I would like to see it offered in brighter colors. The interiors of the Freestyle are nearly identical to the updated EcoSport that was launched last year, which means you get the same 6.5-inch touchscreen, the same layout of the dashboard, and the infotainment system integrates Ford Sync 3, which means you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity as standard. The infotainment screen sits on top of the dashboard and looks nice, especially since its resolution is crisp and the interface is slick. The dashboard wears a two-tone brown and black finish to add to the sporty feel, and the quality of plastics used overall is good as well. The design of the instrument cluster has not changed over the years though, and I feel a newer design for the speedometer and tachometer would have been nice, as the current design looks dated now. Coming to interior space, the Freestyle is a spacious car, as it offers ample legroom and knee room to rear occupants. The fact that the Freestyle is wider than the Figo also helps in offering slightly better shoulder room. That said, the rear doors do not get any pockets at all, and storing water bottles or anything at all is a bit of an issue. The Freestyle does not get rear air conditioning vents either, but Ford tells us it has ensured the system is strong enough to ensure the entire cabin cools quickly thanks to a powerful blast from the front vents. The Freestyle marks the debut of Ford's new 1.2-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine from its Dragon family, that's manufactured at its Sanand plant in Gujarat. The engine offers 96 PS of power, which Ford claims is the highest for a 1.2-litre petrol in India, and performance is impressive. The Freestyle will be on offer with Ford's tried and tested 1.5-litre diesel engine as well, though we only got to drive the new petrol version. The engine feels relaxed in nature, and in its current state it has been tuned to offer a strong bottom end and mid-range punch. Acceleration off the line is thus quick, as is overtaking on highways. And another good news is that Ford has eliminated the typical vibration associated with 3-cylinder engines to a large extent, so the engine does feel smooth and refined irrespective of the revs you are driving at. And the new engine comes mated to a new 5-speed manual gearbox that Ford claims has been tuned to specifically help in improving the torque output at lower speeds. Ford tells us the ratios of the new gearbox are such that you can easily drive the car at very low speeds in city without having to downshift too much, and this clears the car's focus on being driven in either city conditions at slow speeds or through village roads as we did during our drive. The gearbox feels smooth to use, though I wish the throws were shorter and shifts were quicker. Ford also tells us the new gearbox will use up to 40% lesser oil, which should contribute to more savings in the long run. That said, Ford also tells us that the Freestyle will be one of the most affordable cars in its segment when it comes to per kilometer running costs, while service intervals are the highest in class at 10,000 kilometers, which is really impressive. Now, Ford is all gung-ho about the Freestyle's ride and handling package and tells us this is a driver's car. It has worked extensively on perfecting the suspension setup and tells us that this car is a better and sportier handler than the Figo S. The struts are the same, but spring rates are different for the suspension. But more importantly, the chassis has been modified as the Freestyle has a wider track at both ends, which means there's better stability, be it at high speeds on highways or around corners. I have to say Ford has nailed the suspension setup on the Freestyle really well, as the car feels very confident going over potholes, ruts, or even when driving off tarmac. It feels planted as the suspension soaks up bumps without letting the car lose its composure or unsettling the occupants. Ride quality is thus slightly firm but not stiff, and the car feels sporty to drive without sacrificing passenger comfort. It has a confident feel around corners as well, and thanks to the wider track and fine-tuned suspension, the Freestyle feels very stable at highway speeds. And in typical Ford fashion, the feel and feedback from the steering wheel are excellent, which also adds to the car's impressive dynamics. On the whole, this is a very nicely set up car that follows Ford's tradition of offering a highly impressive ride and handling package. I've spent about half a day behind the wheel of the Freestyle in the sweltering heat of Rajasthan. I've driven the car across arrow straight highways, village roads, and also the salt flats of the famous Sambar Lake, and I have to say this car does impress. The new petrol engine feels smooth and powerful, though I would have liked slightly slicker shifts from the new gearbox. But what is the star of this car's show has to be its ride and handling package. The suspension has been tuned really well, as it offers a nice mix of sporty handling along with an ability to soak up bumps and potholes really well without unsettling the occupants. What's more, the Freestyle is on par with the EcoSport in terms of equipment levels, which tells us it will sit above the Figo. That said, it should cost slightly more than the Figo, and when launched, should make for an interesting addition to Ford's India lineup.
Our next gradual step, of course, would be to pit the Freestyle against its closest competitors, but that's a story for yet another day. Time then for us to wrap up this week's edition of Overdrive, but we'd like to hear what you thought of this episode as well as our other stories. So do send us a word by Facebook or Twitter and follow our latest videos on our YouTube channel. See you next week. Until then, goodbye and many thanks for watching.